Hi everyone! Today I want to show you how to make this beaded crochet chain wrap bracelet. It's made with 100% cotton yarn and it's so soft and so pretty. This one's about 24 inches, but you should make it as long as you need for it to wrap around your wrist as many times as you want. This one's a cream color yarn with clear glass seed beads woven throughout, and it has a wooden bead and loop closure. The things that you would need to make this would be, of course, your yarn, and for this I'm using a cotton medium 4 yarn in the color Dragonfly. It's kind of like a very dark sage. And you would also need seed beads. I think in this case I might use the white seed beads. Of course I'm gonna have some really sharp scissors. For that closure, I have a few options here of a approximately 8mm wooden bead. I have some different colors. I'll see what I feel looks best when I get to it. The important thing with this is that it's not too small, not too big, and that the hole is actually wide enough to fit the yarn, even though we might still need to help it through with the use of a needle and some embroidery thread. And you'll also need a either 3.5mm or 4mm crochet hook is what I have here. I'm not really sure which one I'm going to use. I think it's going to end up being the 4. We'll see. So on this one, I have about 40 beads woven in. I think I'm going to do a little bit more than that, maybe 42. And what you're going to do is, it's not going to be very easy at all to put those seed beads through, to put this yarn through those seed beads. So what we have to do is make it fit by using this embroidery needle and thread. So what I'm going to do is tie a knot at the end, just one, because we just want to create a big loop basically with this. And then I'm going to pull some of this yarn out. You take the end of your yarn and you just put it through this big loop on your string, and now you'll be able to pull through, and the holes on the seed beads do need to be wide enough for it, or your needle needs to, oops, wrong color, or your needle needs to be a little bit thin. Okay, so that one kind of had to get pushed a little, but okay, so that one made it in. And I'm going to make this a little shorter. Okay. But remember, now we're going to do that 42 times. Here's the last 2. Okay, and now we have 42 beads beaded on this yarn. Alright, so now we just get rid of this needle. We don't need it right now. And We're going to start with, and I'm going to go ahead and start with the 4mm, at least it'll be a little easier to pull through. And I'm going to start with a slip knot. Okay. And I'm going to start by chaining 5 or 6. 3, 4, 5, and 6. What I'm doing here is I'm going to create the loop through which the bead will fit through to close. And I think in this case it needs to be about 6. So chain 6, and then I'm gonna slip stitch into the first chain, and there's our loop. And you can still test it at this point to see if it fits. Ooh, it fits. Okay, and then you just continue chaining from there. And I'm gonna do about 3, 4, 5, 6 before I start bringing up a bead. And I'm gonna chain right over that to lock it in place. Okay, and then I think I'll do 2 chains in between each bead. One, 2, bring up another bead. Let me slow down a bit and show that I am just chaining, keeping that bead behind the crochet hook at that point to lock it in place. Chain 2 more, chain over another bead. Oopsie. Okay, remember there's 42 on here, so I'm gonna finish that up and meet you back here. Okay, so here's the last couple of beads. Okay, so now that came up pretty long. Let me just give it a little test. Oh, that looks good. I'm actually going to add a couple of chains before finishing this. Okay. So now this is what we end up with, this beautiful chain with beautiful beads woven through nice and evenly. Okay, and here at the end what we're going to do is I'm going to cut, I'm going to give it a lot of slack because I don't want to run out. What we're going to do here is put this end through our finishing bead. We'll use the same tool that we used, the needle with the threaded loop. So we keep this just like that, we keep the loop on. But I'm going to use this threaded loop to make sure that this bead gets on. Okay. And then in the same way that we were locking these little white seed beads on, we're going to lock in this wood bead. Okay. Give it a nice tighten. Chain a few after that, maybe one more. That's a total of 4 chains after the bead. Pull through, tighten, and it's pretty much done. The only thing you have to do now at this point is just weave these ends through your chain and snip them so they disappear. Okay, so I'm actually using a yarn needle. This is a metal yarn needle. I'm going to just weave it through the chain a few times. I'm going to do it in one direction and then back up. And what I've actually also done with this is to, hold on. Once I snip it, and I'm going to snip it, I'm actually going to go back again just to really So I'm going to snip this. And then use that fray check again on where I snipped it, just to keep it from unraveling or bushing. Just, it's a natural cotton yarn, so it may do that. So just a little dot of that. And I'm going to do the same thing at the other end where the bead is. And actually I think I'm going to lay this against the chain like that and just kind of weave it up and down. Through both chains. And snip close and do the same with the fray check here. Okay, see how nicely finished that is? Once that has a chance to dry, what you're left with is this beautiful wrap, crochet, chain, beaded bracelet. And this is the closure. The button will go through that loop that we created in the beginning. I made it a little bit big so that it would hang a little. Isn't that lovely? I like it. And I love the color. That's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments if you have tried it, if you intend to try it, and maybe your color selection. Bye-bye.